Hello and welcome back to Oracle Mystica Tarot. Today I have three beautiful piles to choose from, and I really work well with plant and flower energy, sometimes a little better than stones, so you'll probably see a lot of plant life in terms of picking piles and even how I style my little videos. So these full bloom garden roses from my yard. I'm in the middle of at the very end of summer right now, when flowers are kind of reblooming where I am, and they bring out all the bees and a little bit of pollination going on. So these just caught my attention and they felt like they wanted to communicate things, and so I thought I would do that, not just for myself but for everybody. So this reading is going to be kind of what's pollinating in your life, what's in your heart, what's blossoming, that kind of energy. So movement, heart energy, openings, kind of where those things are. So it should be a really lovely reading, focusing more on kind of what's opening in us, what's blossoming, what our heart is telling us. So pile number one is this really lovely kind of creamy white garden rose. Pile two has this really big, lush peach one. And pile three has this kind of magenta, vibrant, my camera's not picking it up so great. It looks a little darker on here than it is in real life. It's a little bit more magenta than this dark, I don't know, burgundy almost on the camera. But it's a really vibrant, kind of lively color. So take a few minutes and pause here if you need. I'm going to give about 30 seconds, but pause if you need a little bit more time to kind of fill into which rose, which pile is calling out to you in terms of energy that's sort of either starting to blossom or ready to blossom or already is, and like how you can work with it better. So again, pile 1, 2, and 3. Hello, pile 1. If you picked this pile, you picked sort of this really beautiful creamy rose with a yellow center, and to me this signifies a lot about kind of a time of rest and sort of purifying things in your life. So some like rejuvenation, and it could even be a time of like doing some spring cleaning, cleaning out closets and drawers and all that kind of fun stuff, and just a little extra rest. There's something really trying to kind of rejuvenate in you, and that's kind of paradoxically what's blossoming. I know that sounds like something that's down in a rest period and not a blossoming period, but like sometimes when we're in a restful place, things under the surface are really blossoming. So that's what it feels like to me. Something like under your surface is blossoming as you kind of rejuvenate. So that's sort of the energy I'm feeling from that rose. And we're gonna flip over some oracle cards, and then we'll pick some tarot cards to kind of enhance what we see with these oracle cards. So the first one we're gonna do is the animal energy around this. So like what animal guidance can we get around this kind of inner blossoming that is happening. So for you, we've got the unicorn. So there's something that you're gaining a lot of clarity about through being a little bit more restful and still and calm. That's really opening up your inner vision and kind of direction in life and possibilities. And yeah, there's just something, about your mind that is really needing to settle right now in order to, like, where you see this horn with the unicorn, where it's really needing to kind of weed out all sorts of like nonsense stuff that we all have in our head, and really find a focus and get, really calm and still with it, so we can find a vision for that focus and sort of a trajectory, what you want to do with it. So that's something that I think is just coming into being. Sometimes when we're in these restful states, they can feel stagnant, but they're actually really like gestating beautiful things. So like really luxuriate into it and really work on looking into that space kind of between your eyes. It can take a little bit of practice, but a lot of times we can see, especially like I find if I put music on, that helps me to kind of stimulate that area, and you can see all sorts of colors and beautiful things, and just helps you kind of gain a focus. So I think this is a lovely card to go with the white rose. Yeah, again, kind of stillness, calmness, finding, that thing underneath your surface that's sort of becoming a guiding idea or project or notion, whatever it is, hope. Okay, so for our, these are kind of these yogic cards that have different Ayurvedic or yogi type energies, so they can work with the chakras and stuff. So this one is Tamas. You can see this really beautiful, actually I love that it's this white tiger to kind of go with the white rose, and these white butterflies around it, and they're there's this resting, and I love the butterflies do symbolize that even in that rest there is something blossoming through that. So this is definitely, this so much so reflects what I was getting from the white rose, in that this is really a period for you to find some calm, a little bit of rejuvenation, some self-care, a little extra sleep, getting some things off your plate. I know, especially, I'm doing this in the fall, but you could watch this reading whenever. So whenever it comes to you, we're, as humans, we're so good at putting things on our plate and feeling the need to be busy, but anything that just really isn't necessary right now, I think, try and kind of push it to the side or ask for help. It's a great time to ask for help, for people to just step up in your life if you need that. Really get some rejuvenation. There are things under the surface that are connecting within you, that are blossoming within you. They're just not quite ready to be put out in the world, but there's a lot of connectivity that's happening internally. And so you need that time for stillness and rest and stuff for that process to take place. Wow, these cards so far are really matching the rose. Okay, so these priestess cards, this is sort of this like gifts we get from priestess energy that we all have. And in this we see the death and rebirth, darkness to light. And so this indicates that you may be down, like in this womb place where you're gestating something, where you're maybe letting go of some things. So this is, like I said before, there might be some closets to clean out, some junk in your mind to kind of weed out as well. It's a time to kind of see what's essential, what's necessary, and what isn't, and kind of lighten the load and really find what's essential to you internally, because a rebirth is coming. And if we have too much baggage, that can be, weighted down and not go so well. So hopefully the universe is giving you some downtime where you can kind of step back and assess like what is useful and essential in your life and what is maybe like weighing you down and needs to kind of be weeded out or said goodbye to. But this beautiful time down in this restful, dark place, it's recycling things, and you're really getting ready to step into the light and step into some great strength that you have, and that's developing under the surface. Okay, so next we have this kind of like an archetype card to see which part of you is sort of going through this phase. We all have many, many archetypes within us, so we kind of want to hone in and see which part of us is kind of going through this rejuvenation and some death and rebirth and some clarifying and cleansing. Okay, the seeker, thirst for wisdom and truth wherever they are. So yeah, there may be something you're really desiring to understand, whether it's about the kind of philosophy that guides your life or a sense of belonging and community, like where is your community, where do I belong, what is my, so these are kind of like bigger questions I feel like that are going through this, like where do I belong, how am I pushing my boundaries, is it time to kind of broaden my horizons a little, to expand the ways in which I belong, the ways in which I see, the ways in which I perceive the world. A lot of information. I feel like, this blends well with the unicorn. There may be a lot of information that you're downloading right now, both from the world around you through books and observation, but also maybe through spirit and sleep. So I feel like these can go together, like the unicorn may indicate things that you can do personally in terms of research and observing, and this Thomas card is sort of like the things you can do in rest and sleep and just downloading from spirit guides and spirit, and going through the process of releasing things that no longer fit into this broadening you're seeking in life. This could even like indicate a move of sorts. You're kind of pushing out, you're wanting to expand the world you live in some way. And so there's just, it's like this reorganization that's happening down under your soils, under the surface of yourself, that it's a process, and you need to give it a lot of rest. You need to look into new different ideas, sit on it, think about it, kind of challenge old perspectives you've had, let old ones die to make room for kind of where you're going. But something is sort of blossoming about, I feel like, whether it's different people you're going to be coming into contact with, or moving where you live, your actual location, or just information that you're coming into. Something is really pushing your perspective of the world and how you fit into the world and how you see and perceive the world. So it's a process. Be patient with it, because under the surface, something really beautiful is organizing to kind of allow the world to open to you in new ways. Okay, so this card is just giving a little bit of a clue of an energy around all of this. So this is kind of indicating that, yes, this is an energy that is blossoming and is thriving. So I feel like most of you, doing a really good job of kind of giving yourself that downtime you need, of seeking out new kinds of information, letting go of old, modes of thinking and constructs that are no longer kind of working for you, that are holding you back, that are not allowing you to thrive. And for those of you that maybe are just starting this is indicating that there will be so much thriving coming by doing this work, by processing out the old and opening to new, and being very open-minded and curious and contemplative and observant. Something really is getting ready in you to blossom in new ways. Okay, so we're going to do some tarot cards. I'm just going to shuffle a few here. I really just wanted to get a couple of notes. We're going to do kind of like 3 different things. So I want to see, in what way do you need to protect what's happening here? In what way do you need to kind of push yourself a little bit? And just some notes from the tarot in general, from Spirit, of any extra information it wants to add in about this. So let's first look at in what ways do you need to kind of protect this energy of this kind of purification, clarity, new vision, new perspectives that are downloading, and old ones that you are shedding. Okay, just want to get one more. Take this bottom one. Okay, so to me, yeah, there's a lot. What you're needing to protect around yourself is that there are definitely, to me, some old ideas and some old emotions that are making you feel a little bit stuck right now. But this Prince of Wands in here says that there's definitely a new spark. And so it's looking towards that spark that you need to kind of focus on to break free of mental constructs that tell you that, like, I'm not big enough for that, I'm not good enough for that. Any kind of thinking or ideas you've had that make you think that you have to stay where you are, that you can't change things up, that where you are is safe even if you're not happy. Look to this idea that's sparking in you, and it's going to shatter those, and it's going to really, it can be an uncomfortable thing to kind of push our minds and be introduced to new ideas that push on what is comfortable to us. But I feel like this Prince of Wands really has you here, and it's really, it's going to protect you in terms of being able to break out of ideas that are holding you back, and kind of past ways of emotionally connecting to your world and your community and your place in it and your ideas. There's maybe some emotional conflict within you that is trying to resolve, and I think you're very ready to let go of, maybe there's some it could be interpersonal conflict, it could just be internal conflict, but there's some conflicts you're really so close to letting go of, and just seeing it in a new way, focusing on what's coming versus like being kind of mired into these in the middle, in the midst of some kind of dramas or inner angst. You're really, it's time to really look towards the new and just kind of let these old ways of thinking and feeling be released. And this new vision that's coming, the Prince of Wands, this unicorn, there's something that's sparking, and it's really going to move you beyond these things. So really look for that new idea, that new spark. It may need some time to process, but it is a protection for you right now. This new thing is the protection. Okay, so in what ways do you need to push yourself a little right now in terms of what's happening with these sheddings and opening to new ways of being and doing? Ooh, okay. One more. Oh, wow. Okay. This is so fun. Okay, so you really need to push yourself around what you're worth. Your sense of self-value, your sense of worth, it is the thing that is trying to grow. you are worth so much more than what you've given yourself credit for, and maybe you've just never actually stepped into the shoes you're capable of filling. And you really need to push this. This is challenging you to, bump up against your past sense of, what you think you're worth, because you're worth a lot more than you think. And you need to continue bumping into that, pushing against that, seeing where the edges around that. And to me, this Nine of Wands is saying that this is because you are capable of, in this instance, in this drawing, I feel like this is a real leadership card. It's almost like, with that unicorn having this third eye, this vision, you are capable of seeing the big picture, seeing all the little things that are going into, the big vision, and you're able to hold it all and compose it all. And you're not scared of holding a lot of work and doing a lot of work. This is very tied to your value. You're very capable of, you're just capable is all I'm gonna say. Capable of whatever you want to be capable of. And you can really command and lead, and you can ask top dollar for that, and value yourself, know your voice, know that you should speak up and can speak up, because you are really capable of seeing the big picture and the details, the forest and the trees, and you can do it all. You could even be an entrepreneur, because you're able to kind of do the day-to-day stuff as well as hold the big picture vision. But this is just saying, like, recognize those qualities in you. You have them, and they're getting ready, they're gestating, they're reorganizing to push you into a bigger shoes, to push you into a bigger role in life. And this seeking quality, it's maybe like you're trying to find those shoes. Maybe you know this about yourself, but you're trying to find those shoes you want to fill. So just keep pushing against that. This is where you're challenged to kind of come out of your cocoon and push your edges against. And then the sun here, to me, just says that whether you have found it or not, by pushing, by believing in yourself, you are going to find that perfect alignment. You're going to find that thing that is perfectly meant for you, whatever that is. This could be, because of this Ace of Discs, I do want to say it has maybe something to do with career, but it doesn't have to. It could just be really owning your voice and being able to be someone in your community that's this broader place now that you've pushed yourself into, or you're moving, and wherever you land is like your hometown, and all of a sudden you are an important person in your community, whereas you didn't quite know where you fit in before. Or it could just be a certain philosophy of life that just finally finds you, or you find it, or both, kind of this magnetization that is just super aligned, and you just kind of come into your empowerment in general. But something around pushing your boundaries, letting go of smaller shoes you've always kind of put yourself in, and trusting that that you have a strong voice, you have a strong value, and you're really capable, and you're going to find the thing that's aligned and meant for you. Okay, I just want to find couple more cards, any information that Spirit wants to add to anything we've said, the overall energy of this kind of blossoming down in our depths, because we're organizing to take on something bigger in life. Wow, okay. And I kind of felt this from the start, but I think that most of you here are at the tail end of this cleansing, purifying, resting, reprocessing, reorganizing seeking place. You're really coming close to, from darkness to light, you're really coming close to stepping into that light, into the rebirth point. You're like right on the cusp of it, I feel like. So that's exciting for most of you. Sometimes it can get comfortable down in that dark, nurturing place. But there's something, there's a lot of irons in the fire that are just ready to land, and all of a sudden it's going to be like straight from rest into like a gazillion potential options, directions, asks, people wanting to do things with you, seeing your value kind of land in new, beautiful ways. But big movement is coming, big energy, a lot of action and activity, just solidified by the Chariot here, which means that like movement is coming. Whatever you're hoping for, whatever this Prince of Wands spark is about, that you've been kind of nurturing and shedding and making room for down in your depths, that movement, that action, time to act on it, time to step into those shoes is like right here. And then the last card, it just seals the deal, the Emperor. Like, just know your capability, as we talked about over in this last pile. You're capable of organization, of order, of leading, of whatever it is that these shoes are going to ask for you, that these new perceptions and perspectives are going to push into you, that any change in your view of the world will bring. Like, you're capable. You're capable of doing it, of commanding it, of being a leader in it, and really staking your place in whatever all this is about to you. So that is exciting. I think that's where I'm going to leave you guys. Flower one, pile one. Beautiful reading, and I'm excited. I'd love to hear in the comments what this might be for some of you. So good luck and happy blossoming. Hello, pile 2. If this is your pile, you picked the peach rose. And to me, this rose, this pile, there's something connected to maybe your sacral energy that's kind of blossoming right now, which has to do with like your creativity, your flow, your sense of sensuality, your pleasure, finding pleasure in life, femininity. So something around that I feel like is really blossoming in you guys, or is asking to blossom. So I'm going to take a look at some cards and see a little bit more that might be going around this. So to start, I've got a bunch of oracle cards that we're just going to flip over one at a time and kind of see what unfolds in terms of this connection to the peach rose. And then after the oracle cards, I'm going to shuffle and draw some tarot cards to sort of add to the story and find a little bit more information around it all. Okay, so this first card is an animal energy. So we're just going to kind of see what animal wants to speak up about what's happening with this kind of peachy, orangey, fluid, creative energy that is blossoming right now. Okay, so the turtle, that's beautiful because this really represents like Mother Earth and the goddess. And usually with turtles, I think it's like, yeah, they usually have like 13 of those big tiles, and 13 is sort of like the goddess number. So there is like your femininity, your connection to depth, your connection to nurturing, your connection to regeneration and recycling, and form and figure and pleasure, and this kind of Venusian quality of life is really blossoming right now. And I feel like the turtle is saying, like, go slow with it, enjoy it, luxuriate in it. Try not to rush life right now. Like, really just drop into this beautiful energy that's sort of unfolding either within you or around you or both. Usually both is kind of happening. And then we've got sort of a Hindu god, Ganesh, which is sort of the elephant god. And as you can see in this, I mean, it completely, the blossoming around this god in this picture, like, it's just, to me, confirming that in general, just like life is really blossoming around you. And elephants in general do have this very deep feminine connection, and they're like the protectors of earth. They're able to clear out obstacles in their path. They bring a lot of kind of beneficial circumstances and just an attitude in general of just like life is vibrant, life is beautiful, life is connected. If you watch animals kind of travel in their herds, they're very aware of each other and helpful with each other and caring and nurturing with each other. So that also might be kind of like, notice the people around you and really nurture them and let them nurture you, and just really see the beauty in things, in people, in life, in the earth, in yourself, and be this energy that kind of helps everything within you and around you blossom. The more people around you are blossoming, the more it helps you blossom too. So just being this sort of like energy in the world that wants to see everything and everyone, including yourself, do well. That's sort of what I'm feeling here. It's like this avenue to like extend this beauty that's blossoming in you to everyone around. Okay, so this card is the Priestess card that I picked for this pile. So sort of like a little gift from the priestesses that might be blossoming within you as well. So hidden knowledge, Akashic records, and silent understanding. So this might be a time where you're getting downloads. You're not necessarily researching or looking for information, but things are just kind of like downloading into you around this energy, around how to enjoy life more, how to get pleasure out of life, how to let things blossom without pushing, and just enjoying the process and the beauty of it. So some really deep, profound things that are just kind of coming through you, to you, without any effort. So that's a beautiful thing, and it may help you connect into some prophetic things. So really trust your intuition too, which is definitely another feminine thing, is like trusting. Sometimes it can be really hard to trust our intuition when it's things that are more premonitory about like the future, or things that don't make sense that you really feel strongly about that you should take action on. So like this is definitely saying to trust that intuition, to use it, to acknowledge it, to work with it. So definitely a lot of beautiful things going on. Let's see, now we'll do the archetype last. So this card is just kind of, usually has just sort of a general, some kind of note about an area of life maybe that's connected to this, specifically kind of niching it down into like where in life is this happening type of thing. Fulfillment. So we have just this beautiful fruit with these beautiful flowers. So something is really ripe. This is beyond just feeling connected. Look at this full moon in this picture. I'm just going to hold it up because it's just like such a really beautiful picture. So something is beyond, I kind of think of flowers and blossoming as spring, and the fruitfulness more as summer, where something's like really ripe. and like ready to be used and juicy and full, that fulfillment. So this is beyond just feeling connected and just, sort of surface enjoying life and like discovering your femininity. Something is really big around this, where you're able to mature this energy, mature this blossoming into something useful, into something that can provide for you even, or that other people look to you for this kind of wisdom. But there's something about your nurturing, your femininity, your ability to connect to pleasure that is really profound in you and is becoming more solid, more concrete and real and productive in your life, and a quality that's not just passing, like it is in you to the core now. And then this last oracle card, this is sort of hones down even further, a niche in life, like where in your life might this be happening? What kind of, we all have a ton of archetypes in us. And so which quality within us, which kind of arc within us is going through this? So the scribe light attribute is preserving knowledge and information. So this to me is saying like you may be really coming into some beautiful information about ancient information around the feminine, around goddesses, around matriarchies, whatever it is to you, things that are connected to the feminine quality, to the yin quality. You may really be uprooting some beautiful things, whether it's completely new or just new to you and very important. And you're finding ways to restore and bring awareness to and record, and making this information sort of accessible and available, and maybe putting it into the form that most people use and sort of like a digitized world, but somewhere where it's very useful and in a way that can bring people a lot of fulfillment too, as well as yourself. This might be just for yourself, it might be for others. I do feel this Ganesh energy really wants to share it with others, so I would urge that, whatever you're coming into, and really uprooting and recognizing and solidifying is very important around your feminine energy. And you can be, it doesn't matter what gender you are, we all have a feminine side. Just a note on that. Okay, so overall what's blossoming is this beautiful sense of what the feminine means and how to help this modern world see that better, use it better, and find fulfillment through it. So I just want to pick some tarot cards to kind of enhance what we have going on here. So I'm going to do a few cards about how to kind of protect this energy that's sort of blossoming in you, what kind of boundaries or protection it needs right now from you. If you hear my dogs growling, I'm sorry, they're being playful today. And then I'm going to do a few cards around what you need to push in yourself around this. And then I'll do a few cards around just any last information that we want. Okay, so let's start with what needs a little bit of protection, a little bit of nurturing in this. Okay, so what needs a little bit of protection right now is, I'm going to move these up so we can see the cards better. Okay, So you have a specific perspective that you may feel is hard for other people to understand right now, but that you're very stubborn about. Or you're really trying to find your perspective with this. But this is something that does need a little bit more processing before you really put your perspective into the world, is figuring out how to communicate it well, how to communicate it in a way that people will know how to work with it and digest it. So there is something about your perspective that you need to protect a little right now while you kind of sort out how to understand your perspective, how to communicate it in a way that is beautiful and understood well by others. Yeah, you're putting some work into this too, these new feminine perspectives. I feel like this is like you're kind of like molding your world a little bit around you to reflect this in new ways. And so, be slow and gentle about this. You don't need to push that too much right now, but just like really enjoy the process of molding your world around you rather than feeling like you have to have everything done now and you have this vision of what you kind of want this really feminine quality to feel like and look like around you. It will get there. Just, take your time with it. Enjoy the process. This is reminding you to, like really be in that feminine energy of like enjoying the process and not pushing the process or rushing it or stressing about it. And I do feel like with this last card, there is this generosity of heart that I've been feeling the whole time of like, you really want to share this and you're very eager to. The time will come. Just let this congeal, let whatever this is that you're working out, that is blossoming within you, you'll know the right timing to be generous about this and to put it into the world and to generate new value for yourself even around this. So this is like calling for just like a little bit of patience. There's something that's not quite ready to kind of put in front of others yet. You're just enjoy the process of doing this for yourself at the moment, of sinking into your feminine qualities, getting to know it, using it, seeing it in your world around you. Take your time to enjoy that before you try and push it on others or into the world in a big way. Okay, so where do you need to push yourself around this beautiful feminine energy that's kind of blossoming within you and becoming something very useful in your life? Okay, so I feel like this is showing that when the time is right, I still do want to show that, like take your time with this, but when the time is right to start sharing it, I really think there's going to be something important about community here, and that won't be a passing thing, that will really help community find new ways of investing in community. And that could be just your family, it could be women in general, it could be a specific group of women, it could be a specific group of people. Whatever that community sense means to you, there's just really something beautiful about this energy that's developing in you, that's going to be productive, useful, valuable, but celebrated and joyful for community. And it's really going to help this community, as well as yourself, invest in life in very different and valuable and meaningful ways. So this is definitely beautiful to me. This is beautiful energy. But right now there might be some financial challenges around putting this out into the world. And so just another, or like your sense of value around it isn't quite congealed yet. So it's like kind of harkening back also to this. I know this is the card of like pushing things, but I do feel like it was like, well, I want to push the fact that things are congealing and something is needing to take its time right now before this is kind of put out into the world. Values need to come together both internally, and when they do, that will come externally as well, and financially things will work out. There will either be benefactors or just your value will blossom in new ways. But right now, I do feel like this is sort of like a push this soon, but maybe not quite yet. Know what's coming and know what to push when it does come. But this Five of Pentacles is saying, I feel like these cards are what's coming, and the Five of Pentacles is saying like, this is what to push, but not yet, almost. Okay, and then we'll just do a few cards on any last kind of, let's see, any last notes Spirit has about what's going on here. You know what, this card fell out before, so we'll do 4 cards here. Okay, so last energy, there is something really, really, really connected to your sense of voice, your sense of self-worth, your sense of physical, material life that's connected here. And it will, when it's ready, when this energy that's still kind of gestating is ready, it's really going to provide for you, and it's really going to help you find your resonant voice, your strong, pure voice. It looks like there's maybe some decisions. You may be at a crossroads in terms of which direction to go. There might be multiple ways that you can do this. And I would just say the energy of blossoming in general that we're kind of talking about is a pollinator energy. So I would say test, sometimes this Two of Swords, this crossroads is like, how do I choose which direction? And I want to say like tiptoe into both directions. See what they both have to offer. Don't try and stress yourself out about like, I have to pick one or the other. If that is a circumstance you're facing and where you really do have to pick one or the other, which I know sometimes that just is how it is. Really listen to your voice. Let it, ask a question to yourself, and without thinking, just see what your voice says, because this is a really strong directional about your choice that's happening. Whichever, if there is this direction you're choosing, or if you choose to pollinate several directions and test it out, I do feel like you are, like, with this falling right under the this Eight of Discs, right under the Ace of Discs, so dedication from the Eight of Discs under this deep value and resonant voice or resonant value. Whether you choose many directions, one direction, whatever it is you choose, when you find that your strong voice, you have the dedication with it to really give it a systemized feeling, to really create productivity and processes and work. Really, there's so many discs in this. I feel like this definitely has something to do with work. That you'll figure out your system. You have the dedication, you have the motivation here to make this into something that produces for you. And then this Three of Hearts, or Three of Swords, the Sorrow card, I always like to think of this card more as like you've tried something in your life before that kind of it didn't work the way that you wanted, but it did at the same time give you more depth, more um, intuitive knowing of who you are. And so this is realigning and putting yourself out there again in a more mature, more aligned, more beautiful way, but through this energy of having like maybe had your heart broken by going down a path, a previous path that just really kind of wasn't great and really hurt. But the beauty that came from it is you just know yourself so much more, and the path you're choosing now is so much more aligned and deep and empowering. So I like reading the three. I think that's a beautiful way to read the Three of Swords card, and I think that feels resonant to me around what I feel here is like this blossoming energy initially. It's so easy to get stuck in more superficial things here, but the fact that like there's all these notes around here of like this being something that's very ripe and that's going to bring a lot of fulfillment and maturity. It's like you've gone through some things before, and this is now a very mature idea, not just a superficial whatever is blossoming in you with this feminine energy. So beautiful reading, guys. I'm excited to know. Leave a comment what you're working on, what this yin energy, this pleasure, this Venusian quality is that you guys are connected to. I want in. Hello, pile 3. If you picked this pile, you picked the really beautiful, vibrant magenta garden rose. And I just saw, I won't show it to you guys because I don't want to freak anyone out, but there's like a little centipede living in here that I did not notice until I was about to start your reading. Saw something moving around, which I feel like is like a really beautiful sign of just how vibrant and alive your energy is right now. So not only did you pick the color that was the most vibrant, but there is like actual life living in here. And the way I'm reading it is just that there is so much connectivity, so much life, so much blossoming in you guys. So let's take a little further look into what this might be about. What is blossoming? With this very, darker, not quite red, not quite pink, sort of between the two colors. I definitely sort of think of the root chakra and like something really stable in you that allows you to be kind of radiant rather than rushed in life. So there's something like, just very vibrant and grounded in you that is allowing you to blossom into life in really fun, energetic ways right now. So I have some oracle cards here. We're going to take a look at what they have to say about this energy. And then after we do the oracle cards, I'm going to shuffle and do some tarot to kind of enhance the story a little. Okay, so our first card is the animal card that kind of wanted to jump out and give us some information about what's blossoming here, what is so vibrant about you, and what, it has some animal has a message. So the octopus. Sorry, I don't know if you saw that. My screen like paused for some reason, so I was not sure what was happening. Hopefully that didn't happen to you, but that's why I paused. So octopus is what you guys have kind of speaking through right now, which is so lovely. I mean, what I think about when I think about how alive this flower is for you guys is like all these tentacles. It is just like involved in so much in life right now. So that might reflect something for you that you're very entangled in many beautiful, fun, exciting things. And you may be, like octopi are so, so smart. So this could indicate there's something about your mind, about your intelligence, about the way you communicate that could be very witty and fun, and you might just be a connector in general. But there's something about your intelligence that is really blossoming and really helping you feel connected in life. I feel like that's the overall thing. Like there may be this sense of deep grounding right now in your life, because of how connected and supported and integral you are to things. So this octopus energy, is really trying to mirror to you how beautiful and important that is, at least right at this moment in your life, to use the connections you have in really lovely ways, and to move information through these tentacles into all the different places you're connected, just being kind of this hub of, I like to think of this like this head, the brain center, and I know it's not, they don't really have a brain like we do, but to me it's like the brain center and all these places that you're connected, and you can kind of gather and distribute information, and you're just sort of like this central hub right now. Like, even though there's this like deep stability through that, it's really fun and really vibrant. So that's a lovely animal card to have for what I saw in the rose. Okay, so this card is sort of a nod to the yogic tradition. There's different Hindu gods and goddesses. There's stuff about chakras. There's stuff about Ayurveda. So just kind of a spiritual message kind of coming through from the East, I guess. And you have the booty. I love this. I love this because sometimes with really vibrant energy and being connected everywhere, you can be like really scattered too. And this is indicating that you have such wisdom, and that grounding I thought that was a little paradoxical, the grounding yet the vibrancy, but this totally makes sense why that was coming through now, is that you are able to find the stillness and the wisdom in all these places. So you're like a real not just a hub for information, but a hub for wisdom, and really connected and approachable and out and active in your community. But you have this presence that's blossoming in you right now that is just really seen to the heart and seen through your heart to like the most essential information and the wisdom that's needed in the information and in the connections and in the vibrancy of life. So that's a really beautiful thing to tap into. Okay, so then we've got a priestess card. So the priestesses want to show you somewhere, like a gift that you're being given by them because of this blossoming that's taking place, the work you've done to blossom in this area of your life. So we've got guide, the illuminated path. I love that it goes past guide to the illuminated path, not just a guide anywhere. Guides can lead us astray, right? But the illuminated path, and this just to me harkens back to this booty card, that it's sort of like, people they're really looking to you right now. That is something that's really blossoming in you. You know the right paths to go on, and you know how to guide through that because you are so wise and you are so intelligent and you're so connected at this point in life. And you can really use that to help people. Like, I feel like you don't need any help in your life almost, but like this is a point, something's blossoming in you where you can really help people on their paths because you can see what's needed. You can witness what's needed. You can lead to what is needed because of that. So don't be surprised if you're getting a lot of people knocking on your door, a lot of connections wanting to work with you. And I guess the one thing I would say about that is like continue to be wise about what you say yes and no to, and where you place your energies and where you connect your tentacles, really lean into your wisdom to know what is right for you and what isn't, because I feel like there's going to be a lot of things and people and places that are trying to attach themselves to you. So that is one danger of, that's actually another meaning that could come through with this rose, is like when you are really blossoming in something, everyone wants to have a piece of you. They want to pick the beautiful rose or live in it, so you could have some little parasites trying to get in there. So really be careful about what you let into your nectars that are so alive right now. Okay, our next card is just sort of like, sometimes it indicates something about a niche more around this, or a quality, to kind of hone in a little bit closer to what this is about. So diligence. Yeah, I mean, I think there's so many ways to apply this card, but I love that the image here is what's speaking to me the most, of this bird getting this high view of everything. And I feel like that's something that that's going to be really useful to you, is like really being diligent about stepping back and witnessing what's happening. Just to reiterate, like what I said, to know what to attach to know what to say yes and no to see that illuminated path that's needed, and the ones that you're most suitable to be a guide on, and really being diligent about just your wisdom with it all, and staying on top of it, and doing the work to keep yourself centered within all that vibrancy that's happening. There's so much like farm life down here. There's so much going on. So it's, like really be diligent about taking steps back to continue to find the wisdom, to find the centering, to find the right alignments for this quality in you that is really attractive right now, and eager to be connected. So just be wise about what you attach yourself to or say yes and no to right now. But I also think like your diligence is maybe what has allowed you to really blossom with this new quality of life, this new kind of guide status or ability to guide. You maybe have so much intelligence and wisdom because you've been a very diligent person in your life around whatever it is that you can be a guide of, and whatever it is that you're this connection hub for, and whatever your wisdom is sourced from. So that's actually leading to this last oracle card, is an archetype card. So we all have a lot of archetypes in us, and this one's sort of helping us niche down to see which area of this, which area of your life all of this pertains to. Where this blossoming is happening, where this energy is taking place within you, how does it relate to some sort of archetype in you? The God archetype. Okay, well, that makes sense with the booty and the illuminated path guide and the diligence. Yeah, I mean, it kind of ties these all together. So this says benevolence and compassion, recognizing the eternal force within yourself and others. I don't feel like this is like a God complex. I know in this deck there's like a Messiah card, which is sort of more of that the Messiah complex. I feel like this card is like really being, like tapped into the sacredness of life and the eternal forces. really being connected into that source of oneness of all, and so being able to have like a really deep sense of compassion. And that might be what the attractive force is here, why people are coming to you. This feels more spiritual than anything, is that you have this wisdom of how to handle life, how to tread on certain paths or pick certain directions based on like a spiritual compass, based on this knowing that resides deep within, that you're connected to everything. So this definitely is feeling like more of like a spiritual wisdom, a spiritual path, something spiritual blossoming within you, rather than more tangible like a specific career or love interests, some of these things we tend to want to know lots about. But for you, there's something really spiritual in you, really blossoming right now, and you have so much to offer around this. And honestly, it's just being diligent. Again, going back to some of these cards, I know I've repeated this, but just like being careful and diligent and honoring who you are, what your gifts are, so what you really feel like you are the best guide for, and creating some good boundaries around all the things and elements you're connected to and are trying to connect to you, just so you keep this energy, illuminated and benevolent, I guess you could say. Okay, so we are going to do some tarot cards, and I'm kind of doing a few cards for 3 different categories. The first set of cards, I kind of want to know what around this blossoming energy do you really need to sort of protect right now. I feel like I've kind of already tapped into that. I didn't get that immediately with the first 2 piles of like, you need to protect this, but it really came through for me. But we'll see what else the tarot might have to say about what you need to protect around this blossoming. The second pile will be kind of where you need to push yourself and challenge yourself a little bit more to share your nectars more and blossom bigger and just get the most out of this beautiful thing that's coming out of you. And then the third kind of little draw we'll do is just anything else that the tarot and spirit has to add to the story. Okay, so let's see what spirit has to say about what needs to be protected around this blossoming. We'll see if it had some similar things to what I said. Okay. Yeah, definitely this feels like really similar to what I've been saying, is like you do have these like really spiritual gifts with the Hierophants, and with the Lovers, there's a lot of choices around this. There's a lot of ways to go with this, and it's blossoming, and you want to connect it everywhere, and everything's wanting to connect to it. But this last card, the King of Cups, is coming through to really use your wisdom, to really tap into that wisdom you already have, the thing that people want from you. Use it for yourself to know which choices to make, both in terms of when you're being asked and when you're desiring. So you may have things you want to attach to, and there may be things wanting to attach to you. And in both scenarios, you really need to take a pause, gain some like emotional stability, wait till you kind of like your emotions calm, and make really wise choices that you feel aligned to your deepest values. Okay, so let's see where spirit really wants you to push yourself right now. Okay. Areas to push yourself. So, around all this beautiful spiritual blossoming, your kind of ability to be a guide, um, and be this connector force as well. Um, I do think that your physical environment needs some kind of change. It doesn't necessarily mean like you need to move, um, but there's some sort of something in your environment I'm feeling like needs a shift, a rearranging, to match better with your own internal um, valuing of yourself, to mirror that, that blossoming that's happening in you. There's something in your physical environment that needs to kind of match that blossoming that's happening internally. And that could even just be like getting out into the world in different ways, moving around in the world in different ways. It could mean a move, it could mean rearranging things around you. But there's something that has shifted in you, and the Spirit wants to challenge that you should acknowledge that by shifting the world around you as well, to make that feel mirrored more correctly. King of Wands, to me, like, I feel like the kings in general have that fiery element of leadership. And so being in the wands, which is kind of connected to fire, it's sort of like really saying like you are ready to be a leader. You need to step up. There might be something, some reason why you're still, it's that diligence thing. I feel like you, in that octopus thing, like always feeling like you need a little bit more of a view and a little bit more information. You're always not quite ready or something. And this is saying, no, you are ready. You can still continue to gather information or better yourself in how you do things. That's an ongoing process, but you are currently ready to just step into your leadership role. So that feels big to me. This doesn't feel like, just people around you needing things. This feels like your position in the world. And then pushing yourself around friendships too. So this may be, I feel like there's so much connection here, but this may have, like you may have this emphasis on really wanting to connect more to like ideas and information and teaching rather than people. And so I think Spirit here is challenging you to attach to people a little bit more than information, kind of make a shift in that, that you have what you need, you have your connections, your information, your your intelligence is going nowhere, but that will go nowhere unless you attach to people too. And so I feel like there's some sort of challenge there, like maybe you've been like this bird up here, a little bit detached and just taking things in your own way, and now it's time to bring it down to earth and connect it into people and invest in your friendships, invest in your social life, find joy in people and find community. Community that's like your soul tribe kind of deal here. I feel like this is a challenge of like you need to push yourself a little more in that. Okay, last thing, we're gonna see if what's any additional things that Spirit wants to add into this. And that was a very quick, all three cards fell out right away. Ooh. Wow, okay. Whatever this blossoming is, it is so special to you. This is something you've maybe hoped for, dreamed of, worked on for so long. And it's like a dream is coming true. And at the same time, as that is happening, something is so fulfilled in your heart about this. sometimes we have these big wishes and dreams of doing something, and once it's at our doorstep, we're like, oh, that's not what I thought it would be. This is more than you thought it would be. There's something so emotionally fulfilled in you that is really magnetic right now. So dreams coming true through, like, this might be something you've wanted. It's not something that just sort of happened to develop and blossom in you. Like, I feel like you've really been working hard on whatever these spiritual gifts are. And I think it does actually relate to career. I said here it was just like a little bit more of a spiritual element to you, but I do feel like this might be career with the King of Swords. Leadership and ideas. You have three kings in this drawing. I do feel like this is something about your position in the world. It's not just a beautiful gift for yourself or people around you. This is really something you need to put into the world. It's really something you need to invest in, making your position in the world and claiming some leadership and authority and really commanding things. And you have the mental fortitude. I already knew that with the octopus, but in the diligence. But you really have this quality in you, like being the last card picked. It's just sort of like emphasizing, like, you are very strong, you're very powerful, and just step into those shoes. You can continue to feed yourself in all the ways you need to, but you're just ready to be a leader. So stop thinking you need more of anything in order to do this. You're already there. So much life coming out of you, so much intelligence, really beautiful time. So congratulations to you guys. Just challenging you to, step up and do whatever it is you feel connected to around this message, and just know that you have the capability. So that's where I'm going to leave you guys. I'd love to hear in the comments if you want to share how this resonated, what you're doing. I'm certainly curious. So yeah, until next time.